Ladies and gentlemen, it has been my pleasure to welcome my colleague and friend, Maitri Korana Mashabane, to Finland, for our bilateral discussions, but to attend the Nordic African ministerial meeting, which is already a tradition for over 10 years that we have had. And we are meeting this time in Hämeenlinna tomorrow. But we have had the opportunity to discuss a whole range of not so much bilateral issues, because we have very good relations and we have for many reasons, and but also how we can work together with the EU, with the African Union and regional organizations. We have a very strong common interest in trying to make the world a better place, more safe, secure, and we have discussed ways of doing that with peacekeeping, with mediation, with controlling the arms trade, and so on. And we have very converging views on this, so we have also a great potential for cooperating bilaterally, Nordic South Africa, and also Europe, Africa. So please.
It's always a pleasure and an honor to share a platform with you. On behalf of myself and our delegation, we've already thanked you for hosting us this afternoon for our bilateral talks, but also to thank you for being the host for the sessions Africa Nordic countries meeting. We think this is an important platform of like-minded countries to see how we could continue to work together to enhance the ties of the Nordic countries and African countries. As for us from South Africa regards Finland as one of our most reliable, dependable partner, whose relations with us spans a long history during the time when it was very difficult in our country, when we were fighting for freedom, and through other engagements, through the solidarity movement, and so on. We have used this opportunity of our interaction to say that South Africa is but 19 years old, so these partnerships that we have between ourselves, particularly developmental, are still very, very important. From Finland to other Nordic countries, as much as South Africa is regarded as a middle-income country, we are still engaged and fighting very much the scourge of the triple challenges, that of inequality, of unemployment, and poverty. So the support from your good selves to make this democratic project a successful one in the 19 years and beyond would continue to be highly appreciated. Our Deputy President visited this country last year to further strengthen our ties, both political and economic. As you rightfully said, we are very happy with the political, economic, science and technology, and environment management engagements. We are very happy with our bilateral relations. We know we can do better using or taking advantage of our bilateral ties. Finland, as part of the EU family, would also be aware of that we are, and as we shared during our meeting, that we've just concluded the ministerial political dialogue with the EU as a high-level engagement prior to the EU-South Africa Partnership Summit that will take place in South Africa later this year, in July, with a theme that focuses on inward investment to deal with the triple challenges that I referred to, inward investment that also work to job creation. We have got big companies from broader Europe, but including specifically famous Nokia from Finland. We think that with these big companies that are engaged economically with our economy in South Africa, there are many other opportunities that can be pursued. South Africa is on a big infrastructure build as it is in the continent. So we think there are many opportunities for companies from your country, from your region, to take advantage of. Our president is also a champion for infrastructure built on the continent. So these opportunities are not only in South Africa, but broadly in the continent as we aspire to integrate the economies of our continent. We have found over the years that Finland, as I said, is not only a historic partner, but a dependable ally. This year, the African Union celebrates a 50th anniversary or a jubilee. We did that in Addis on the 25th of May. We continue with not only the celebration, but moving on the whole year with a process of not only commemorating the 50th anniversary, but also building on Vision 2063. Where do we want to see Africa as we celebrate the centenary of the OUAU? One friend of mine who's more or less our age group thought we shouldn't worry about this because maybe we would not be around. The other one thought it's okay to work for it because maybe you and I will be overseeing this in the universe. We'll still be around. Because it's important that we work to Vision 2063 as Africans, but also from the friends of Africa, that we continue to work for an Africa that is at peace with itself, that has done away with coups that come in different guises, that has become a successful democracy throughout the continent in the 54 countries, Africa that is at peace with itself, that's equally developmental. So our journey, our partnership, we think has just begun, and it will continue to be mutually beneficial. We have not only pledged support for the arms trade and regulation thereof, the ITT, that you are championing. South Africa has also voted positively for that and will also continue working with you to make sure that we do away with irresponsible and proliferation of arms all over the world, because that doesn't augur well for this dream that South Africa, that Finland, that Nordic countries, that all African countries are yearning for, particularly from the continent where I come from. There's no way that this dream of an Africa that lives at peace with itself, that's developmental, that can never become a success if we allow this cage to continue. Once again, let me take this opportunity to thank you very much for your hospitality that's well known, but also for having given us this opportunity to interact. May I take this opportunity to once again remind you of your standing invitation to visit our shows, in particular, specifically South Africa, at the most opportune time for your good self. I thank you. Let me start by repeating what our icon, Nelson Mandela, our former president, has been saying. First to say that indeed we join all South Africans and the global citizenry in wishing him a speedy recovery, but also to say that the information we are getting through our president from his doctors is that while his condition remains stable but serious, he is beginning to respond to treatment, which is a welcome development. In my culture, we don't prophesy about the things you've just mentioned now. We keep praying that he remains with us, but we are also consciously aware that he is just 1 month shy from turning 95. As for his legacy, like I said earlier on, repeating what he had said himself, he served 1 term in government and voluntarily retired from government. He handed over through a peaceful transfer of power to his successor, former President Mbeki, who served his term. We now have President Zuma, who is concluding his first term in government. So the legacy of President Mandela, one, from what he had said himself, is that he has always been a member of an organization, the African National Congress. He's always been a member of a collective of the ruling party, the African National Congress. So this is the legacy that he leaves. The Constitution of the Republic of South Africa. The Constitution that I think in the 10 years has proven that it's got all the safeguards to nurture, to continue on this route, on this path of our democracy. The just concluded conference of the ruling party in Mangaung in South Africa has also shown that there is robust internal democracy in Mandela's party, the legacy that he has left behind, where we go through elections in the ruling party itself, through a democratic, secret ballot elections. I don't know how many countries practice that here, in the party, not just nationally. So we do that in the party, we do that every 5 years in the country, and we want to thank our father, Tata Nelson Rolihlahla Madiba Mandela, for this journey of a democracy. That which he said he was prepared to fight for, if needs be, die for. We feel very much privileged and honored to have been led by him, who led us by example and continue to inspire us. Today, he is a global icon. He is one of the few citizens of the globe whose birthday is celebrated at the UN with a special sitting of the UN General Assembly. Akule akoko be Madiba. I can't translate that. I'm just saying, long live Mandela. Well, Africans and African leaders, through the African Union Summit, have adopted a historic African intervention of immediate response mechanism in the last summit of the AU. We have had a discussion in the past that our defense ministries and generals of our continent should finalize a permanent mechanism which looks at responding to areas of conflict on time. So realizing the emergence of these challenges that we have referred to, there was a special decision that was taken in the last AU summit, which concretizes what we refer to as African solutions for African problems. We are glad that our friends from the EU and other partners globally are not saying we should see for ourselves, but they are acutely aware that Africans themselves now believe that they can take leadership in this challenge, but that we will continue to receive support from our cooperating partners. So the willingness is there, didn't start today. In 2012, January, when South Africa chaired the Security Council meeting, when we were there in our second tenure as the Security Council, we adopted a special resolution of the UN Security Council, Resolution 2033, which emphasizes coordination of peace efforts on our continent through and in partnership between the AU Commission and the UN Security Council, in particular through the AU Peace and Security Council. The message we got there was that we should work together and continue working together to make sure that we remove this challenge out of the way of our good trading and economic partnerships between South Africa and the EU. The South African scientists have investigated this matter and have satisfied themselves that there was no imminent danger to human consumption of the citrus fruits. The information we have is that these same scientists that were commissioned by South Africa are prepared to work with their European counterparts, because the Europeans have also thought they needed to also make an independent study, which has not been concluded yet. Our hope is that we will continue exchanging information, because indeed both sides have confirmed that there's no danger in consuming these products. But whatever else that is there, that we don't know about this black spot issue, we need to satisfy ourselves, both sides. But we really are saying that this is just one matter. This is one possible non-tariff barrier that we should be able to resolve amicably. We have also shared this with our friend and honorable minister here in Finland. We will share this with all other colleagues that we'll be meeting with during the course of this meeting. If there are any outstanding issues that still need our attention, South Africa will be hosting at summit level the EU-South Africa Partnership Summit in South Africa in July. So we have another opportunity to look at this and iron out whichever other outstanding issue that is at hand.
So,
That
thank
was
you.
nice. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you.